Hi everybody, just grabbing my last tree and we're on. Okay, I'm in here. I got it. It's a big heavy one. I'm putting them all behind here. So I can kind of work from your guys' angle today. We got 3 trees inside. So we might be hanging out and doing bonsai for quite a while. Hopefully we have some people roll in and come and hang out. That'd be really neat. Welcome everybody, welcome. I'm Grove Sleeper PNW. Grove Sleeper PNW. And hello, hey everybody. We're here, we're live, we're on, awesome, cool. Yep, looks like everything's working properly. How's everybody doing? We're gonna do some bonsai work tonight. I was gonna jump right into Project Zomboid for a while, but I feel bad because I don't want to spend too much time on gaming and fall behind on tree projects. We're here in the middle of summer right now. So one of the main objectives is just to keep all the trees alive. So that's our main objective, is just keep everything thriving. So we're going to do a little bit of light work today. I also have a meeting coming up in 2 days with a whole bunch of other bonsai experts that they're going to be able to give me a lot more direction off of what we do tonight. It's just going to be a little bit of light work, cleaning up some of the real dead stuff, and it should be a fun little clinic if you've never seen any bonsai work before. Let's hop over to our project cam. There's our first specimen. There it is right there. Here, let's get that music back on, guys. There we go. Oh, and hi, Mally. Mally's coming to say hi. You want to back up? Back up. Hello. Hi, Mally. Oh. Yep, she's always here to hang out. Oh, there we go. You guys see I got 2 other trees in the back there that we can work on tonight. So it could be a little bit of a long clinic, actually, if anybody's interested. If there's questions in the chat, that always helps. Keep us on the bonsai projects a little bit longer. I like to try to reserve these streams for when we've got a little bit of involvement, when we've got some people in chat asking questions, or at least a couple of viewers, so that we're not, burning these really cool projects without an audience. Even though we do try to post most of the videos over there on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. But the best place to interact is over on Steam. So on Twitch stream, our stream over on Twitch. Either way, though, I appreciate everybody who jumps in and gets involved and hangs out with us. I won't waste too much more time here. We'll get right up into it. Let's see here. We got our chat up. We got that up. We got that up. We got that up. Everything looks good to me. All right, guys. Let's have a chill night. We might play some games a little bit later, but for now, let's go Zen mode and work on some bonsai. I think that sounds fun tonight, and like I said, I'm kind of falling behind on a couple of little projects I wanted to do on some newer trees I have. What you see in front of you right now is my Mugo pine. I call it the Cthulhu Mugo. It's a very cool tree, but it needs a little bit of thinning out for its own health and for the shape in general. So I can give you guys like a little bit of spin around on that. Let's just get our chairs out of the way as we can. There, and this will be a nice view of, one tree at a time. You can see all the way from the top there down to the bottom. And one problem I'm having, guys, is I've got to put my leg rest. There. This is the Cthulhu Mugo. Aptly named because it's got these really cool tentacle looking roots, aerial roots going over the top of the Nabari right here. This was such a crazy find. I got it in a local nursery, and I just saw this really gnarled up front and these broken off branches, and I figured that this tree was probably older than I thought, so I bought it. And after I uncovered it, after I unearthed it, I found pretty much everything below, I would say here. All of this stuff got exposed, and it just looks so cool. But it needs a little bit of shape, it needs a little bit of trimming. So we can dive right into that one, or we can wait for a little bit and I can explain a little more in depth what my thought process is behind it. But that'll take a little bit longer. I've really just sat and looked at this tree for a very long time, trying to decide what to do with it. But we're going to take advantage of back budding by not cutting entire branches off, just shortening them up. We'll also take advantage of maybe some Jin and Shari. This bark right here is just asking to get removed, but I don't want to shock too hard right now by taking bark off, even though it is pretty much ready to chip off. It looks like this whole area of the trees, I guess you'd call it circular system, was feeding these branches right here. So once these branches were gone, this whole area just feels like it's ready to peel right off. But yeah, that's how it looks. It's got a really cool lean to it. Automatic wind swept. Just by tilting it over on its side like that. I really like this top palm right here as kind of being one lead, and then maybe leaving a foot down here at the bottom, but removing anything that reaches down to the level of the pot. Anything that's reaching basin level is gonna have to get cut back or cut off. And where the foliage is on these, I don't have a ton of options, but I'll see what I can do. We'll start by cutting them back and then see if they need to go completely off after that. Because I'd rather cut things back and have them grow out in different ways later than completely remove the option altogether. But you can see it's quite thick. There's a few branches that I could probably take out of this middle area to help the view in of the Nabari and the branch structure, because it's so cool. You want to be able to see it from multiple angles, although there is really a front, and I would say this is the front. There's just so much action going on here. Can't ask for more in bonsai material, so that's one of them. We'll do a quick and easy little wiring trimming job on this white pine that I picked up. I feel incredibly blessed to have picked up a white pine. They're usually hard to come by and rather expensive, but this one back here was a little bit of an oddball, so I was able to pick it up. This is kind of tree exhibit number 2. Uh-oh, just dripping a little bit of water right here. Now I got wet sock. That's what I have these dang tarps for. Alright, so I'll give you the spin around on this one. Really pretty little tree. Good for a nice traditional shape. Got some dead stuff off the inside I can take. Got some little crotch branches I can remove to make it a little more shapely. Could even remove some of this long stuff to cut it back into a nice little palm. But once we really start hacking into removing some real branches later in the month, we can really decide what our front is and where we really need to take off the most branch structure. And it'll probably choose for itself whichever branches are least desirable go, and then that might line up with the front perfectly, because this has a pretty standard round front. I think this will probably end up being the front facing you guys right here, because I like the Nabari coming out right here. It's nothing too serious, but worth note anyway. So the warm-up tree that we'll probably start off with today is going to be the yew. that I put into a slab basin pretty recently. Since this one's dripping, I want to make sure it stays on the tarp. So let me just get this one up. So we're ready to work on it. There we go. Nice big bushy tree that we're going to be able to remove quite a bit of foliage from. It's had a really nice chance to have an awesome growth spurt this season. I picked it up plenty of time ago. I've already taken one of its buddies and done a lot of shari and gin work to it. And it seems to be doing okay outside. I did a lot of work on that one though. We're gonna go a little bit slower. Now that we've got this one slabbed, this was actually a slab job that finished off a little bit. I was just having kind of an off stream. So I'm gonna have to kind of reevaluate the tree a little bit. Because honestly, it looks really good if I can prop up this bit of the rock. It just needs kind of like something to suspend it. It looks a lot better when it's propped up like that. So I'm gonna have to leave something underneath it to leave it more balanced like this. That's just one of the problems that you have with flagstone, is that sometimes pieces will chip off that you're not expecting to. But I'm thinking that this tree could use some pretty serious pruning and maybe a little bit of gin and shari work tonight. I got a handful of hours to hang out with you guys, so I thought, why not? We'll jump in and start doing this thing. Hopefully you guys have a good view. Scooch it back just a bit more even. Look at that. A view of the whole thing there. And hopefully that's helpful with the black backdrop back there. I know there's still some colored little flags over it, but it's mostly black now. I've been chipping away, guys, for over a year now. Slowly making little improvements to this place. You know, one turntable, one table, one, you know, set of tools or cleaning supplies or brushes at a time. And it's been a really fulfilling experience to be doing this with you guys. Even when it's a slow crowd or anything like that, it still feels good to be creating something and putting it out into the world that will leave hopefully a nice mark on the internet. I'm a little bit less family friendly when we're playing Project Zomboid and stuff. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, in real life, I do curse quite a bit. I got a bad mouth. And now I got lots of this great copper to work with from the recycler. But I don't think we're gonna be having to wrap anything quite yet. First, we need to take a good hard look at our tree. Remember where our front is. This is our back. I can tell because I have two pretty obvious drain holes, and there's also a very steep rock to moss mound, which is made of muckwall clay that I make here on stream. If you guys are interested in how this thing was made, I made this from scratch on stream. And if you like, subscribe, follow the channel, all that good stuff, you'll get notifications when I'm doing slab work. That's when you're gonna want to log in, is when I'm doing slab work from scratch. But this is one of 3 or 4, I think, slab pieces that I've done. I've got one more micro project that I'd like to throw together. But overall, they're turning out pretty good. They're solid. They're holding up against the sun, the rain, the waterings. I do get little areas where I end up losing my outer layer right here of moss, and so I can see exposed clay. So some of those areas I try to spread around the moss a bit. A little bit of moss fell off there, but the rest looks pretty good. Some parts that got a little torched by the sun, but it is the middle of summer, so even though I sprinkle these with water multiple times a day, they still get a little bit of harsh sun wear. Dechlorification, I believe, is what it's called when this part of the season comes and we start finishing our first spring growth, which is all nice and deep green now, and we start getting a little bit of loss of color in areas that the tree doesn't want anymore. Not as much energy is being stored. And a lot of energy is being stored in these little pines here, so I can't go too aggressive, but we can start taking some stuff off. So who's ready to get started? I got a Yahoo and chat or something. All right, you know, on second thought, I don't want to go burn through these gloves too fast, so put this on my left hand. Just to make sure I keep any sap off my hands, because I might be playing some games later. All right, so first things first, let's go through and make the easy cuts, guys. We're gonna cut everything that's just growing real downward and spindly. These are the easy ones to find. We can work on the hard stuff later, like shaping the tree and choosing the major branches to keep and such. This has a nice thick nabar, or a nice thick trunk on it. Not a lot of nabari, but a nice thick trunk. So starting from the bottom, we're not going to need a lot of this. We might keep some of these lower branches as what we call sacrificial branches to help keep the trunk growing, but this one kind of looks like crap, and it's out pretty far. So even if I was to trim it back for back budding to here, I still don't really love this branch. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that altogether. I'll leave just a bit for some dieback. And then we'll go with the easy stuff, like I was saying. What's spindly and pointing downwards? This one? Yeah, and also this one's growing right next to another branch right next to it. So that's an easy choice. This one right here seems a bit out of sorts, especially with so many healthy branches next to it. So I'll take that. Also, anything that's growing straight up, I'll probably be taking anything off that's growing straight up and into everything else, kind of like this one. You can see a nice long shoot of fresh growth here, but it's growing up into my other branches. I've got 1, 2, 3 in a row. So let's choose, which ones do we want to keep? Well, these are gonna have to all go in here because I can't see where my trunk splits. So all of this stuff's really gonna have to go that's in close here. So let's start taking that stuff off. That also has a lot of candidates that are growing straight down like this. That can go. It's a little cluster of 2 plus a dead branch. I might leave 1 just to see how things look in a minute. And I might be wrong here, but there's a number of times I've jumped onto Twitch and tried to search for live bonsai, and I'm not seeing much of it. I think a lot of bonsai content creators definitely have to stick to a rigid schedule for their trees. I have a lot of experiments going on though, so that kind of gives me an edge because I pick up trees all different times throughout the year. So depending on when I pick something up, it might be time to style it. It might be time to repot it. It might be time to not do anything with it and not tell you guys about it until we can. Otherwise it'd just be a big tease. But all the trees that I've shown you today have some type of work that we can do on them. That white pine back there especially, I'm excited to see what comes out of that one. All right. I'm gonna spin around back here, and on the very inside where we start to see everything split off from itself, this has all got to get cleared out. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to see much of the trunk. So this is a pretty big cut right here. I'm taking all the back budding and all of this big stick. Boom. And I can be rather aggressive with these yews. They really like to back bud quickly. This one's been able to stabilize for quite a while. See, these are in the back of the tree. This one's real weak right here, but you know, there is one little bud pretty close to the trunk. So I'm actually gonna cut this one off a little differently. See? Just leave this one little bud here. So maybe we can keep getting a little bit of energy from that. And since it's a small branch, it's not gonna distract from the trunk. It's actually gonna make the trunk look a lot bigger. So in some cases, I'm better off taking a big old stick like this and leaving a little one like that. Because here, this will be a real-time example, guys. Let me get lined up. See this big long piece here? Bit of a distraction. I feel like maybe up close is a good angle for you guys. I'll scoot over. Here, get on in here. There we are. So we're looking at this branch right here. It's coming off the back of the tree, so there's that to consider. So if I look at it again from the front, does it really bug me that much? You know, from the front I actually can kind of see it coming off. So I'm glad I didn't just snip away at it, because this is one that I think I would also like to shorten but not completely take off. I don't mind if I get a little bit of back budding back in this area, but anything past probably this one I can do without. And that sticks out like a sore thumb, so I'll take that one last pine there. I'll be able to wire this down if I feel. This one kind of has a little bit of a funky shape going on its own. And just for that, I'm gonna leave it. Now its partner up here seems to be growing out and then into this bush out here. We want to keep everything in close, start it to back bud closer and closer in where we want it, not way out here, so we can easily cut this one back. Now it's not interfering with anything else, and we still have the ability to back bud. I'm seeing 3 little branches that are kind of all growing in the center of 2 branches that could potentially keep. So let me just cut like a 1, 2, and maybe just for aesthetic, I'll leave that one little back bud right here that came in this year. And then we've got some fresh back buds here. The stuff's moving outwards. See, the end of this twig's a little bit pathetic, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that one all the way back to here as well. Just cute little things down there. Nothing too obtrusive. This one can go. Okay. So I like where that's at so far. See, this one's growing down in actually a pretty decent little swoopy pattern, but I would have to bring these 2 down as well to go along with it. And you know, these 2 are actually very close to each other. They're not opposite. You kind of want to have branches opposite each other of similar branch size. So I see that's kind of possible right here or right here. So I kind of have to choose between one or the other to keep. That's what it seems. One other thing I'm going to do for good measure is I always have a habit of finding a little piece of wire or a toothpick or something that I put into the front of my tree so I can keep my perspective right. There's one of those little toothpick things. I know I had one of those around here. Boy, it's already getting warm in this room, guys. Oh, we're not even gaming. I'd understand if the PC was all spooled up, but we're not even playing games and it's hot in here. You need to get a fan. Burning up. Alright, well, I have a toothpick right here that I can use. This will work fine. So to remind ourselves one more time, that's certainly back where we have the nice I like how there's the nice topography right here on the rock leading up and it comes up. Got a couple of little greeter branches down below, and then you've got this big long offshoot that'll probably be our live bit, and then we're gonna have to do a little more damage over here. I'm thinking that maybe one will get cut clear down to maybe here, and then the other we will just leave a little palm at the top, but we'll see how it looks when we get to that point. I'm just gonna stick this right in this spot right here because it seems like that's the front. It's also got somewhat balanced trunk. I don't want to move it around too much because it was planted not too long ago, and I don't want to kill any little feeder roots that might be growing right now by agitating the tree too much. All right, so after looking at this for a minute, I definitely think we need to clear this area out. We're gonna have to start here and then down here in what you'd call the crotch of these 3 branches. I can actually pull those out by hand. It's just all fresh back budding from this season. See, we can finally check out what we're working with in here now. And this is actually starting to change my opinion of the tree a little bit. Because it looks like it has a nice split going off this way, man. So really that middle branch is the one that starts to become the liability here, that could have the most work done to it taken off here. I'm gonna cut a couple of the high branches off on that, the high long branches. Each place that I just took this branch off, these 2 branches off, there's a ton of back budding at the base. All through here still needs to be taken out quite a bit. So let's continue with that. Can you guys hear the little snips? Is it close enough? I'd really like it to be close to the tree, so you can hear every little snip and clip, huh? Guys, let me know in chat. Oh, there's an ad break going on. Oh shoot, well I hope nobody's getting chased off with the ad breaks, but it looks like it just started. That's alright, we're gonna work clear through this ad break and all the way into the next. Except I am gonna have to take this glove off because my hand is starting to sweat. Ugh. Okay. Again, I'm saying this middle branch looks like the liability here. I'm seeing a big, long, ugly branch that I don't love here. So here's a big cut. Actually, I better save that. If we're in an ad break, I'll save the big cut for after ad break. But this is the one that we're going after right here. Chunk. Yeah, that's gonna have to go. So just a couple more kind of boring shots here. That one going downwards. Got this one going downwards. See, it's almost like I want to clear off the bottom of a pine's branch. See, it starts to look older as I shorten it up and I start to clear off whatever's at the trunk end, kind of like this. I decide that that's the length of branch that I want. And in this case, that's pretty close, but I would like to take off a couple of those shoots. Just give it a little more shape how I want it. So a shoot there can come off. There. Just some little stuff. If you guys have any questions, just drop them in chat. I'm always happy to answer questions on bonsai or other arts that I participate in like this. Here's a real nasty one too that I can take off in a sec. As soon as we're back from our ad break, because I want to see how everybody, I want everybody to see how 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts right away, 5 cuts right away are going to open up so much of this trunk. It's going to look totally different. It's going to add a lot of years to how old the tree looks. Now, gosh dang it, I want to sit on my yoga blocks while I do this, but we're doing this from a new cam perspective today, so hopefully that works. Welcome back from Adland, everybody. All right, I was waiting. Don't worry. We got a couple of nice chonkin pieces we could take off here, okay? So during the ad break, I was talking about how this one obviously struggling a little bit towards the front, and it grows all the way from the inside of our most likely branch that's going to get taken off all the way through the inside. Just with this one branch right here, we're going to clear up so much. Now you get to see all the green stuff that came out this year just by getting rid of this one really long spindly boy. And then I spotted a couple of dead branches here we can take. That one's easy. That one's easy right here. These aren't going to serve us for any type of deadwood style gin. This one, long spindly. Most likely the branch that I want to keep is my lead, but kind of like what's going on. I better not mess with the lead yet. We'll wait on the lead. We'll work our way from the bottom up one more time. How about that, guys? So first off, we have 2 good opposites here for lower tree, just like that. I feel like we should leave one or the other. I kind of like the shape of this one. It goes upwards and it's kind of fun. And this one kind of does the same, especially if I wire it down a bit. If this one gets wired down, it's just real flat. Whereas this one has a little bit of more upward to it as well. I think this is our odd one out. What do you guys think? Bottom branch gone? Let me know in chat. You guys get to the... Y'all are Caesar right now. You're Caesars of the Grove. Bottom branch. I'll leave like 5 more seconds in case there's lag in chat. I'll have a sip of my coffee. If anybody's just tuning in, welcome. I'm Grove Sleeper PNW. Oh, you might be able to see my fish over there actually. He almost never comes out. He's over there. He's hanging out behind the little broken jars. He loves those things. I've got the shyest fish in the entire world. It's okay, Toro. The internet won't judge you any more than they'll judge me. Alright, here we go, guys. Time is up. Let's start cutting. I'm gonna get to a few cuts here. So again, I think this is kind of fun. If I'm gonna leave a couple of sacrificial branches at the bottom, I'll leave this one. So I get to leave one of the 2 opposite. This one actually adds layers in terms of height better right here. So this one goes. Ooh, it's a big one. I'm gonna leave a little room for dieback, and there it goes. your whole tree on its own. Unfortunately, these don't propagate well. I've got an entire propagation box outside, guys, that probably has upward of 70 cuttings from my azalea, my maples, my cypress, and my junipers. So I've got lots of baby clones outside doing their thing. They're looking pretty decent about 3 weeks in, but really about the 1 month to 5 week mark is when I'm gonna know if they're taking root or if they're just gonna die off on me. Hopefully they don't all just crisp out and die, because I've been watering them and misting them multiple times a day, as one does with cuttings, especially when they live in dry desert type of conditions. But I live in a river valley, so it's really not that bad. We get a little bit of humidity. Alright guys, so this is starting to look a little bit more like a tree, isn't it? Yeah, no, the more I look at it, I don't like this one anymore. I give it style points for the wave, but I mean, honestly, it's pines are so far out that the only way that this would even be savable would be cutting it back to here and hoping that it back buds. I'm not waiting for that type of time with these yews. They're very, very fast growing, so I can make more bold moves. Okay, now next rule. After the straight ups and the straight downs, which there are still some, we go for the growing into the tree pieces. That means these two right here. Well, it means this one right here. The one above it, we'll see. Okay, so there's another piece gone. Let's see, should I put all this into like one container so you guys can see how much we've taken off at the very end? By the way, if you guys have questions about bonsai, please ask in the chat, because what I'm doing right now could be very confusing to newer newer folks to the hobby. Right now is a good time to be pruning back pines and be doing shaping, and that's why we're going to be doing that with 2 other pines today. But you can really take too much off, or take too much off in the wrong areas, because right now all of the energy in our pines is being held in the pines, not down in the root system. So if I'm to come in and cut 1/3 of that white pine off, or over 1/3 of that white pine off, it's very likely it'll die. Same thing with the mugo behind me, but these are more of a bush than a tree, so you can kind of get away with some ultra aggressive pruning, because they backbud like crazy. In here I've got backbudding right there next to a dead branch, and then right next to it is 1, 2, 3 branches in a row. One getting long, one completely dead, and one kind of shorter. I'm gonna leave the short one, because really, if you want to add effect, cutting off all the little things that are causing clutter is a great start. But the more large branches you cut off, the more bold your piece is gonna look, and the more options you're gonna end up having. So it's kind of counterintuitive in some ways. I'm starting to think really alright. So I think it's decided that this has to be my living lead over here on the left side, because it has the most dramatic turn off of the trunk. The trunk comes straight up and then it just juts out this way. So you're just, this is a much more exciting angle than this one going up here or this one going up the back. This one certainly is starting to feel more and more like clutter to me, actually. The two options we're starting to run into is if I take this whole branch off, we could have it hook right there into two distinct sides, but then our front is more like right here. So that's an option right there. I don't think the bark is all that exciting right here. I think that the bark is way more exciting if you can see it on this side. Let me try to continue to spin this without knocking my mic over. And even from this side, god dang, man, now I'm starting to like this side better. And that's okay, because when I replant the tree, I can always swap sides. It's not like it's locked in the way it is right now. That's one of the biggest problems that I've run into in my practice, is that I'll have a tree in a certain orientation, say facing this way like it was, and I get so locked into that view that I can't see the most obvious things that are right in my face, such as, bro, you have way more interesting bark coming up through this area here, so maybe we need to remove this and start considering this our front, in which case we can make some very cool damage out of this thing coming off right there in the middle, and even have a little bit of shari reach like into each side, and then have a little broken gin right here, or even a broken gin way up here. Or I can always cut a side cut here, and then this tree just comes up and then has a new lead coming off here. It's always an option. It doesn't really configure with the general look of the tree though. It's really gonna have to have this windswept look this direction. Or just kind of broken, informal upright, like off to the side and then up from about here. Regardless, there's some tall branches in this middle area that I think need to start going. Let me think. What do you guys think? Do we rip into the left? Do we rip into the center? And if it doesn't matter from either side, do we rip into the now right or center? I'll reduce these back a bit because they're just long, spindly. But I am gonna leave this little green bud there. And I'm gonna cut just the big stuff off here. Leave these little green buds for now. They may stay, they may go. It's like, that's just a dead branch right there. I'm gonna have to choose between these shoots here for a branch. So boom and boom. There we go. So a little branch there, little branch there, little branch there. And I can even go to the smaller branches if I felt it. Let's see, this leaves me an option to have two large, and then I can leave the other small ones down there. The bottom of the tree is going to get the least energy, so some of them may die off anyways. That wouldn't shock me at all. But they'll definitely be back budding. So let's see. Let's continue to cut off anything that's growing into the tree and blocking our center view here. Now this one right here, and this one right here are two separate. So I'm gonna take the one out of the middle here. And you know, I might be able to tolerate that one. But opposite is one that's just kind of not that interesting. And now we're starting to build a little bit of a pattern, a little bit of a layering here. We've got like kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even maybe a 7th here. But then these 2 that are growing inwards are gonna have to go, all right? Depending on what happens to this branch here, this one may be able to stay. So I was talking about this one before we were rudely interrupted by an ad break, but I don't like how far out this one is. It's got a lot of real straggly, weird stuff going on. I think it's just gonna go. I'm gonna take the whole thing down to the last bud, and then maybe we'll take the whole branch off later. We'll see. Okay. See some easy clutter to remove in here on this branch, the center branch again. I certainly don't want the center branch interrupting my other branches, because that's the most likely one to be either cut off completely or ginned off. Okay, so we were saying that this is kind of the old front we were looking. Oh, this thing has gotten moved around now. This was the last front that we were looking at, but then I kind of decided that this isn't the most exciting bark or anything right here. This is gonna have the same angle either direction. This case, this one comes towards me, and in this case, it'll have to be planted upwards even more. A bit like that. So I just feel like I'd rather have a little action right there than all the way over here, but you know, you can make this just look more like a traditional scraggly sided tree here. Up to a lead. I'll keep clearing away and see if any change of heart comes to mind. Again, this is very aggressive. I wouldn't do this with other types of pines usually, with any type of, you know, standard pine. This is a Hicks yew, so it's more of a bush again. So it's a kind of a cheater plant a little bit. This whole thing here, not in love with this. And those aren't really opposites, so I'd rather take the one that's in the center face. God, dude, I'm having so many second thoughts here about the front. I'm really starting to feel as though I need to look at it this way. It's just such more interesting scaly bark through here. Especially after we add a nice ginned branch that maybe goes up this far and then turns to gin up from there to here. Ooh. Well, we certainly can't have this canopy competing with our other canopies, so let's cut that down to size just right away. Yeah, big cuts here, guys. Those are the big boys. Look at that. That was probably half of what I already have in there, for what it's worth. And then comes the fun part where you get to start kind of destroying this inside branch a little bit, because I think we've written this one off to gin. It's not going towards the face, which is good. It's kind of going back that way, so cut this bit out of there. I think this will really kind of leave a cool nub on top where maybe there's just a bit of life coming off. And what I'm gonna do is kind of leave it up to nature here. I'm gonna go with an aggressive couple of prunes and maybe a gin pull down this, just to see if it even keeps. I'm gonna take an aggressive bite out like that. There's a proper term for this. I can't remember what it is. For going in with these deep bites. Just like that. Just nibbling away at it a little. Of course, that's on the back from, you know, this side, but I don't see any extra value coming from this branch coming up on this side either, so I'm afraid that's got to go. Top. Good. This is gonna have a different shape than my other U, which makes me happy. I might be able to keep a little bit of life growing up on the top middle here instead of taking it completely down. Taking off a couple of these lower branches that were growing into the tree. I didn't want those there. Opposite branches growing outside the tree are fine, especially ones I can wire. Opposite branches outside the tree could be something like that. This one and this one are not all that much help. And I'm not going to want any back budding growing into the tree anyway, so I can just kind of almost shave it off. Even catch this one up here. And this one is a violator as well. There. Okay. Now we're cooking. I can start to lower some branches. That'll help fill that out a bit. See, there's a couple of opposite branches there. And then one even a bit below it. So we just gotta get rid of that scraggly one and this one that's kind of grown out of the crotch. And then just a couple of back buds that I'd like to remove. There, that really cleans that up a lot. And there's some that I'm leaving just for the health of the tree. I can't rip everything off, you know. I think maybe up here it needs to go up and out, but how does that even look from this angle? I guess from this angle here, it's not bad to have that, because it grows back into the direction of everything's kind of natural flow and motion off to this side, so I can pretty easily decide to go here and take that off, and then with this split here, I'm just gonna make it go off that one direction. I think that works for me. I think I'm gonna let these three little lowers go for it down here, because this one's gonna throw off the spacing a bit. So there, here and down here, there and there. That should be okay. And for this bit, I'm even gonna take back this piece of hardwood and make a new lead from this piece right here. And immediately after I do that, I'm gonna just prune it down a bit to like here, like that. And those two can just get topped right there as well. Again, with the turning to long and spindly, you got to catch that. You don't want the long spindlies. All right, so we're starting to get a little better form here. You know, this branch goes completely off the back. I'm gonna get rid of these guys right here because I'm almost positive that I've been looking at the tree backwards and I like the other orientation better. And maybe had I done a better potting stream, it would have been the other direction, but I was just having a real off day. Didn't do my best work, I felt. That's okay. Everybody needs to allow themselves those days, and at least, you know, I can look back and reflect on it and own on it and try and do better this time. So I think that this will be just fine. This is a nice little spindly here, spindly side here. I wish that this was back budding more, but you know, all I can really do to encourage that is to snip the end of these and hope that back buds a little instead of growing out further. I'll do the same to this one. I'm even going back down to there. Because I want there to be nice little opposite branches, but I don't want them to be too big. Otherwise it makes my trunk look smaller. See, this even for such a low branch here. It's a little bit of a rule violator. Ooh, dang, that shot all the way across my room. It's safety goggles. This bit can go right here. Okay, guys. So how do we think it's looking from our perspective now? What do you guys think? The way I see it, the piece is a bit unbalanced as it's planted, but it can easily be rocked up this way more. Even like that. And our most interesting bend from a nice straight and balanced, trunk, we get a nice long bend off this way. It even leads into a little bit of a windswept feel with some of the upper stuff here. Not sure how far much of this will come down, but I might be able to pull 2 or 3 nice long branches down here to give it a more robust look. But we'll get to that soon. First thing, I like this little thing here. The little palm of growth right here, and it's going to continue to try and back bud all the way down here, and I'm probably just going to keep pulling it off. Someday eventually I may put some shari going through here. And then I think that this tree has just been thinned out to the point that it's just kind of chilling over here. There's a couple spots where the leaves are or the pines are even starting to get a little large for my taste, where it breaks off into 2 different directions there. I don't need all 3 of these, that's for sure. So I'll just leave those 2. And then there's one more little one there. That's good enough. I think that's enough carnage for one night on that branch. I feel pretty cool about that. I feel pretty cool about these lowers. I feel pretty cool about this little bundle in here. Of course, that'll all back bud until I decide that it can't anymore. We've cleared out everything from the inside here. Not even worth wiring these down quite yet, except for maybe these lower ones. Now we get to focus on this top part here. How high do we go? How dramatic do we get with it? First things first, we definitely need to do a little bit of cleanup. So we're about 4 minutes out, and I'm going to identify a couple of spots that I'd like to clean up towards the top here. Can you guys see this part real well? You can sort of see it, and there's the black TV behind to kind of block off a bit. Perhaps I'll change the camera angle, and then we'll go into our ad break in the next 3 minutes or so, and come back from that refreshed and ready to go. Let me just raise this up a bit. Don't know if this is even at all, but you guys should have a little better view of the top now. Just moving it up a bit higher there. See, we're working with this spot. Okay then, yeah, so, you know, I'll actually just run the ad break right now. Take a really quick break. Anyone who hangs out through the ads, I really do appreciate you. Your guys' ad revenue is helping me keep the channel alive by being able to go and buy pieces of flagstone like this, buy the clay ingredients, the sphagnum moss, the actual trees, rooting hormone, tools, fertilizer. Pots are incredibly expensive, even the plastic trainers. So all your guys' support is highly, highly appreciated over here. Thank you so very much to everyone who's been, you know, very generous in helping out the channel so far. Maybe we'll go for a full-on new perspective on the next shot here. Let's try going up high perspective. Just lock it all the way out. Uh-oh, not all the way out. Hit the wrong one. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, my tripods got undone in a weird way. It's okay. How do you guys like the galaxy? Enjoy the galaxy for a moment. Okay. So let's see how this cooperates. Alright, so it looks like this side's a bit long here. Let's see how we did. Oh, damn, deadass. Perfectly even. Alright. So we'll start maybe working from this type of perspective, a little bit of a higher view for you guys. Right after the ad break, starting in just 1 minute here, we're gonna have our ad break, and then we'll keep on trucking on this thing. We've only been on for a little over an hour, so we got plenty of time to keep hanging out. Move on to our more advanced projects as we go. And we are all chilling, so please hang out through the ad breaks. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff if you guys appreciate the channel and you want to get live updates when I'm going to be doing these bonsai projects. I see now that my microphone's oh, don't worry, that's just my headphones. Yeah. There we go. Camera 2. Can't see much on camera 2 because it's kind of a tall piece, but alright guys, 10 seconds till ads, and I'll see you on the other side, okay? We'll do a quick BRB. Okay. See you in a minute. sick. Just as just as advertised, guys. I'm back. Oops. Where's that tree? There it is. And then I also noticed that I'm not gonna be able to sit where I want to if I do this, so I'm gonna move back a bit. There we go. Hopefully that big obnoxious bright light in the back's not horrible. Let me see how it looks when it's off. Is that better? And I suppose it's probably better off without, at least for now. Actually, no, because it turns off my other light. It's whatever. We're cool. Let's turn the angle away from it a bit. Alright. Back to work, everybody. Here we go. Hot. Hot to it. Hot to it. Alright, what are we going to do with this top branch, the main? What are we going to do with the main? I'm going to leave the most foliage on the main. We're going to start off by taking the obvious bad stuff off the top. And figuring out where are our crotch branches? Where's our real bad offenders here? Because we have to be able to see where the branches split at least. I'm not going to do another little bundle on this one. I want to at least see the branches split. All that. First we'll take off this, take off this, take off this, and see what that does for this branch here. This can go. Need to clear the front, and this is definitely driving right through the tree. All this stuff right here can go. Bang. Big banger cuts. Big banger cuts. Big banger cuts. Now, did I to leave a couple of opposing branches still up here. Maybe not as long as they are, but still doing something. So get rid of this one, because this could be a nice little lead here. If these are going to end off at gin anyways. Not sure I want this one to be my lead. I'll have to look at it one more time. Spin it towards me. This one kind of comes towards the viewer, which is good. Even if it is a little long. This has the most characteristics of our direction as well. This doesn't so much. This one I may be able to work with. Okay, so we'll take this one. This is a big branch. And again, you guys, it's like, this one's bigger than probably all the others except for this back one that's ginned off. Why would I take this big, huge one off? Well, look at how much we get to see of the inside of the tree now. We get to actually work with it. This one has rings. That was a big cut. I don't know if autofocus will get it that close, but let me see if I get really close. If autofocus will do it. Come on. Nah, it won't do it. But that was a pretty significant branch there. Okay, so that's out of there. I'm leaving that. I'm taking that. I don't mind if there's a little bit of fuzz coming off at the bottom of this branch coming out. Just not going into the tree, especially next to a neighbor that's way more cooperative. And that one's kind of going off the other side, that's fine. A little bit cluttery in here. This one seems to be coming out of the crotch. So let's clean out the crotch really quick. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take everything that's trying to grow up and out of this. But you're gonna totally expose that big knot that we just cut off. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna take the end of this one off to cut it quite back a bit. I'm gonna do a little cleanup back here. This real long boy can go. This is already forming a nice little like puffy cloud here, so I just want to cut right back to that. There we go. That leaves some nice opposite branches. Those ones are never gonna be able to rival this branch here, this branch there, that branch there. Okay, so that's not bad. The only thing is, I'll probably have to turn this whole bit here into Shari or Jin. And I'll take this back down to make it just one of those little plugs at the bottom. Not right in the crotch, especially from the angle you view. It's more like it's coming off the back. Boy, it hasn't been opened up in this area like that. There's stuff to pull out. There. I've got some decisions to make here. It's splitting off too many times. This is a nice clean 1-2 split there. This one's a nice 1-2 split there. This one's fine if it has some maybe gin off the back, but what's our 1-2 split? What's our lead? What's our 2 accompanying branches with it? Thinking I can manipulate this one a lot, so I'd like to keep it along with this one, meaning this one will probably have to go. This one's gonna have to go right here anyway, adding to that big clump, that big cluster of broken branches in the middle here. Maybe I can make a cool piece of gin out of this section here. Nah, I think it just blocks. Taking it off. There. Look at how much we've cleared out of this area, guys. Oh. You know, I may just leave these. This one I'm going to cut back to about here to encourage back budding. And then this one I think I'm going to leave on its own. I think that's pretty much our lead. That's our lead now. This one's been cut off here. But we might get some interesting back budding coming out the sides here to fill it in a bit more in the future. But for now, this will just kind of fill in that center area. Let me change my perspective and take at it one more time here. Certainly looks different than when we started. Out like that a bit. I think I just want to wire it down. Kind of like that. I'll even reduce some of this along here to make it look a little bit more old. There, just that one older looking branch, kind of like that, going out, and then back up, out and up, like that. And maybe that one needs to get more upright too. We just put those two together. And then the other two are kind of just ginned out dead ends, honestly. So if I take this and I cut this way back, we can still get back budding on those. And it's already still like completely back budded in here. So we need to clear that out. Well, hopefully this isn't too much. I want to clear out a little bit in here, maybe this one. And then this one here, because it's distracting from that bit. This one's already splitting, so I'll cut it right there. Very nice, very nice. Here, one second, got a message. Oops, shite. Oh, no, I lost it all, guys. Knocked over the camera. Hang on. Text message, I gotta see. Just a second. Just a second. Check my text. Dang it, I just want to reply to my girlfriend. There we go. Okay. Oh, lordy. Jeez, you guys probably have the weirdest shot right now. Sorry. Blonde camera. Hey, whoa. All right, we're back to it. Sorry. Message got in the way there. Should we throw a piece of wire on it, maybe? It's pretty, like, loosey-goosey stuff. I don't even think I need to use my expensive wire. I got some crappy stuff I think I can use. Just gotta find those cutters. Yo, you got any of them wire cutters around? These work, actually. Yep, these do. Let's go with maybe this. Good way to test if your wire is strong enough. Can I move it? Oh. Nope. That's not strong enough. This stuff sucks. Ugh. I can like barely use it on the smallest trees. Whatever, I'll cut off a couple little pieces for these lower branches maybe. No, that's not what I need. Come on, I need the thick stuff. Give me the thickest biscuits you got. There we go. Alright, there we go. Maybe we can wire a couple of these little things in. So when you're wiring, you want to make sure that you get 2 branches per wire. This one looks not super long, but could have maybe been a little bit longer. Anyway, not the biggest deal on these ones. Just kind of twisting at a 35-degree angle or so. And then I like to make a little loop at the end. So let's see if that pulls down at all. Nah, but it'll definitely pull this one down. So if I can get all the way out here, just like that. Yeah. See, that holds it down. So what I'll just do here is I'll just unwire this really quick and attach it to another branch. I'll just connect it to this branch right here. I want to pull it down and underneath this little knot on the back of the tree. Alright, just nice little easy twist here. See, I was told one time that these first little branches coming off the tree should come out and kind of hug the viewer a little bit. I'd rather like that. So there they are. And this one's already going down pretty well. That one's not too big of a deal. Those ones are going down pretty well. I don't want to waste wire or anything like that, but this is going to take something a bit thicker for this one. I think that's interesting, but I'm starting to feel as though this one's gonna have to go, you guys. Yep. From this position, I can see now. It had to go. There. The decision's done. I think that we're a lot closer to where we're supposed to be now. Quite honestly. Just had to commit to that. Commit to that one cut. Alright, let's see if we can get a little piece of copper wire in here to help out. Just a tiny bit. Oof, man, I really don't want my bonsai cutter snapping my headphone wires. That would be a disaster. See, like this one doesn't even feel quite strong enough to hold it down. Yeah. Also, this one bugs me over here. That needs to go. Sorry. Alright, I just need one piece of copper thick enough for this one, and then I think I'm done with this tree. There's a short piece, short bits. They're all in short bits at. See, I have some short bits over here. See if any bits are short enough. Seems good. Oh, this is really thick. It's certainly easily bend. It almost even bends the main branch. This is some really thick wire. I think I should probably save this for something a little heavier duty. This is kind of the game. You gotta find the wire that's the right size without wasting your real thick gauge stuff. This one's a bit thinner, I think. It's a shame because I would have to like cut it in half. But that could be good for some smaller branches later, I suppose. This is way too long. it's so thin. I just want to kind of use double aluminum on it. I think this might actually be aluminum wire. This stuff's really thin. I'm gonna use some of this stuff. I don't really know what this is. I don't know what this wire is, but it's definitely not. I think it got thrown in with the copper and it's not. Oh well, we'll have to see. All right, time to wire this one branch and then I think this one's done. Let's see, where am I gonna wanna hook onto? It looks like the opposite side has that nice big chunk of what's probably gonna end up being gin over here. Only thing is, it's gonna have to wrap under, so anything that's under is gonna get cut off. So let's carefully just thread it under like that. And then the thing about all this is you always twist the wire, not the branch. Twist the wire, twist the wire, twist the wire. Still twisting the wire, and now starting to run into an area where I'm gonna have to pull off some pines to let the wire cross. Otherwise it's just gonna pinch off those bits and kill it off anyways. So to save me some time later, I'll just pull off some bits. And then actually it sneaks up nice on this side, and then it does this perfect amount so that I can actually, we got a triple split here. I need to reduce this to a single split and also take off the one in the crotch, and that looks better, I think. I took off the most significant one that was right in the center. All right, let's see if I can get one more twist in here and then end it with a little bow so I don't poke myself later. And it kind of lets it sit nice and flat underneath. There. Now let's see how we want to bend this. I'm thinking windswept this way, so maybe something like this. Again, bending the wire, not the branch. I think it looks kind of cool if it goes up and then down and out like that. So I think it needs to be a little more turned this way, here, and then maybe turned just up. Kind of like that. I feel like that's a nice little personality to the branch. Let's just make it a little more extreme with the down here, and then the up here, and then back down here. Yeah. How's that look? Oop. Cord's in my way. Alright, so here's the look. There's that wired on branch there. I know it's not the ideal studio, guys, but I'm working towards it. This looks a lot more like a bonsai now. Tried to keep on as much as I could, but we ended up removing quite a bit of foliage. We left more on this one than the last yew that I worked on. Took off about that much. And again, that's a pretty bold amount, but I happen to know that these trees are very vigorous and they'll grow back. So I'm gonna get this thing watered up and put it outside, and that's gonna be that for this tree. Yippee. Throw all those branches out, compost there. So I think I'm gonna have to swap this tree out now, put it outside, give it a good watering, and then we can move on to the next tree, which is probably gonna be a lot of wiring work on this little white pine that I got. We'll do a little bit of wiring, We'll also do a little bit of trimming off of some dead stuff that I've already located that needs to come off. And then we're really going to be able to embrace the shape of that nice little tree. So as we're moving into our break here, I'm going to need about a 10-minute break. So 7 plus a 3-minute ad break. That's a perfect opportunity for me to take 10 minutes, put this tree outside, water it up. I'll put up the next one for you guys to check out. And hopefully I can get a little bit of fresh air because it is getting so hot in this room, you guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow. I've got a Patreon, PayPal, all that good stuff. If you feel like contributing to the channel, it's in the bio. It helps me buy trees and supplies and everything else and keep this channel rolling with you guys. I have a lot of fun with it, and I hope that you do too. I think I left the BRB up the whole last segment, but you guys got the point. I was here. But this time I am actually going to throw the 10-minute timer up. And hopefully I can be back in less than 10. But I do have to go water these plants, so yeah, ads start in 3 minutes, or 6 minutes. And this should work out perfectly. So see you guys in just a few. Well, I'm right back before this ad starts, so if anybody feels like hanging out through the ads, we're gonna get to work on this beautiful white pine I picked up. 5-needle white pine. This thing is so sick. I just gotta get it organized, a little bit of the dead stuff cleaned off, and it's gonna be ready to rock. So hang out through the ads and we're gonna be getting to that. About 30 more seconds till ads start, guys. So I suppose I'll introduce myself again. Hey, I'm Grove Super PNW. I work on bonsai trees and play games. So we'll see how this project goes. We've had a couple of stragglers coming in and out of the stream. I know you guys are out there. If things really pick up, we'll do more bonsai. Otherwise, we'll switch to some gaming. So sorry about the ads. See you guys on the other side though. Sorry guys, I'm just messing with the camera. It looks so off kilter. I'm trying to just get it to look nice and straight at our project. And one of our legs is a little bit long. There, that should be good. Yeah, that's a good view. Alright, cool. So just a little bit longer until these ads are over, guys. If you're watching ad-free right now, thanks somebody, because they probably gifted you a sub. Thanks to Brian TV for the recent gift subs. I really appreciate you. Every time I log on, I'm so stoked, man, because I know that one of those days, you know, any day that I log on can be one of those days that I get a bunch of support in the channel, and I really appreciate it from everybody. So thank you all. You guys rock. I try to tell you that as much as I can because I really appreciate y'all keeping this thing alive. Alright, let's get some prep. Let's start getting prep ready for this. So, one thing for sure, I'm gonna have to go in here and start chopping off a little bit of dead stuff. We're gonna start with that. Remove the dead bits that are in there from the nursery. So far, this tree has only moved from its original nursery pot into this shorter, squattier pot. It's much better for training for bonsai. It's gonna give it a little bit of a less aggressive root pattern, especially the way that I have the drainage layers and everything set up. So hopefully this thing will transplant really well this winter. But before that, we get to get after it. Start cutting away a little bit of this thing. It's got a little bit of junk in there. And I'm trying to keep the mic nice and close so you guys can hear every single little snip, snap, and clip. Hopefully the music's not too loud. Maybe go down just a hair. Just one sec. There, just balance the music a little better for everybody. All right, guys, back to the only bonsai artist here on YouTube. I don't think there's anybody else doing bonsai out there right now. All right, so here's an interesting piece. This is some dead wood that was here from an old cut. And I wonder if that's just gonna break right off. I don't want to be too rough with the tree because it did just get moved from one nursery pot to another, so I don't want to destroy a bunch of the root system. That's especially something you need to be careful with when it comes to pines. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and grab these and just take a big bite out of this. Now we're gonna be able to turn this into a nice big piece of knotted off wood there. And that could easily become the front of our tree. I don't think that bit of wood that was there right here was doing us any favors. So we'll go ahead and take that off. Here's some more in here that could become gin and shari, but not the little pieces. These are all dieback from former cuts that look like they were made at the nursery. They were trying to save this tree, I could tell. These trees make absolutely gorgeous yard trees, and they sell for quite a bit, but they have to have them in the proper shape and everything to sell like that. So every now and then I can get lucky, come in, pick one up off discount. So this is gonna be our only branch option for this whole piece here. So that's something to keep in mind. Might sneeze, hang on guys. Excuse me. Okay, let's get this piece off right in this little crotch right there. Aha. And there's a big sappy chunk right here. After we get all this stuff off, this shape of the tree is gonna start revealing itself a little bit more to us. These dead branches coming off the bottom. Yep, I still see quite a bit in towards the trunk too that we're gonna be able to take. So that can go. This can go. This is all dieback in here to a very interesting intersection. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do in there. But let's make sure everything that's already dead and gone is out of here. That piece just snaps off. That piece just snaps off. That piece just snaps off. This stuff's all been dead for a bit. Yep, yep. Snaps right off. And I bet this one will too. Yep. These are all little failed branches in the center here that didn't get enough light. So we can cut back on this one just a bit. There. Okay. Here's some more deadwood cuts here. And as a matter of fact, this one goes all the way out to this area. I don't think that I'm gonna want any shari or gin all the way out here. So I'm gonna cut this one all the way back. All deadwood. Deadwood throughout here as well. And then this is just opposing this other branch and blocking it. So just take that out. That can go. See, one more piece, two more pieces right here. They might just snap off. Those look like dead bits. Yeah, those just peeled right out. Okay. We're starting to get left with our actual final potential structure here. Oops. Most unnecessary branches are gone, which means we're gonna have to start choosing very soon. The stakes are about to get a lot higher as we start cutting into things that are still producing foliage. A lot more shapely already, having that nasty stuff taken off of it. Okay. What's our front? This really kind of feels like the front. It even has these kind of cool little like googly eyes right here. These little googly eye knots. You can see some of the root, but I really honestly think that this is gonna end up being the front, even though it's got this really ugly breast right here. So let me keep spinning to maybe that serving as the front, like that. Pretty close to where I had my toothpick. I'm figuring now probably this is gonna be my front. Because then I can have my nice little set of palms out this way off of that major branch, and then we can keep, this is such a scraggly little branch. It only has one. And if I take that off, it's not gonna back bud. So this one's almost a no-brainer to take out. I see some pretty aggressive crossers, but I mean, then again, this one might be good to just bring down, because the one above it is actually the crotch branch. It's just so long. Does it also go to a single point? It does. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I don't want the stream to be boring for this tree per se, but there's not too much I'm willing to take off at this point. If it was gonna be anything, it's probably gonna be this branch right here, because it kind of just comes up out of the crotch. It only has one palm on it. It's a rather thick branch. It's distracting from the inside, especially if you're looking from the front, where this one may even need to go as well. Those two being gone could put us ahead quite a bit, along with this downward branch here. Let's take off this downward. Well, maybe not, because this one could come out and replace those. Gosh, I'm almost being told to take both of those off. And then it'll have trunk natural split there. One more potential violator there. Nice palms up top. Do we take the lower, thicker one, or do we take the higher one that's more stuck in the middle of the crotch? I think we have to take the crotch plant, even though the lower one. I mean, look how far out this one goes. It automatically is it automatically is too long. The best that I can do for this is decandle it and hope that it backbuds next year. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and just make the decision of, this is gonna be my one major defoliation or major branch reduction. Oh, here's another dead piece right here. Now that I have my upper view. I think the way that I'm going to be able to wire these, they should make a nice little assortment here. Trim some down. This is a pretty major lead right here. But this is the main lead. This is certainly the main lead right here. So it needs to go out and up from here, it looks like. Yeah, that's our lead. Okay. Can't have our lead blocked, that's for sure. This is all nice. This is all nice. There's that one big piece of dead branch back there that I still may cut. There's a lot of stuff that I can move upwards and it could work into the system again, you know? Ah, this is a nice little part to expose here. All dead that can come off. Perfect. With every one of those I find, clear up even more. There's one right here. See, just in doing the general maintenance and cleanup of all the dead stuff is going to get us halfway there. All right. Now, tree, speak to me again. Let me sit down. How are you feeling? What are you feeling? See, this is a big thing here, is that this lower branch, this lowest branch, it does not look as nice from this side. It almost looks like this was a graft. I know it wasn't. It couldn't have been. But this is the back ugly side for sure. So the more I look at it, the more I actually enjoy looking at it from this perspective and seeing this is my lead right here. Unless we cut all the way back to here, which is a possibility. I could just cut this bit back, but I think I kind of want to leave the palm in the middle and then leave enough to the outside to go out and up around it. So this could look really good with some pretty simple wiring and maybe a couple more branches removed. This one I think needs to go, you guys. This will be the biggest snip on this tree today. Absolutely. Gotta choose between one or the other. Upper's gotta go. Boom. There it is. That's gonna be the biggest piece that we take off today, guys. What a beautiful tree this is, though. My God, just for a nice like close-up of the white pines. They're soft. They pick off nice and easily down low too. So if I want to train a branch, I can get it to go flat. I pick off everything on the bottom. I'm not gonna do that right now because I don't have gloves on and it'll leave sap all over my fingers, but yeah, some very simple techniques we can do to take off some of the back pines and make it look a little older. That one branch removal is perfect. So I think the next thing that we do actually have to do here is probably remove some of the lower long needles. Not a lot of them, just a few. Or maybe we'll get to putting some wire on. Let me look from the front again to see if there's one more obvious branch we can take off that's crossing. If I look at it from a, you guys have a little bit of a downward perspective. Perhaps I need to lower you back a bit to my level. You guys need to get on my level. There we go. Up. There, that should give you a little bit of a better view of what we're working on here. Aha! Now you guys see about from my same perspective. Okay. I really want to get this thing fixed up enough that when I take it to my meeting on Thursday, it's at least semi-formed, or at least starting to get semi-formed. I think what I'm going to do is take my choppers in there and I'm going to really get after that nub that we cut, and then I'm going to put a little bit of sealant on it because it's already bleeding out quite a bit of sap. Okay. Let's see if I can get it evened out even a bit more. There. Yep. Now I'm just going to drop a little sealant on that because I can already see that it's bleeding out pretty bad with a lot of sap. There's sap dripping off the bottom of one of the branches that I haven't even cut. It's just got collected sap from its time at the nursery. So let's go ahead and seal that up. Okay. Now hopefully we don't end up running a bunch of wire through it. These are pretty spindly branches. I can get away with using some pretty thin wire, but how thin? Not that thin. This stuff is garbage. It's cabbage. Where's my thinnest stuff over here? This is a real, a little bit of a more delicate tree. I can use some thinner wire. Got some of that stuff over here, I suppose. All right, just pull out a bit of wire. I wish I had some like mid-grade aluminum to put on this, but I only have really thin aluminum and it's horrible. I think I see a couple of pre-cut bits actually that I could maybe chop up into some smaller pieces. Try to get these out of the way faster. Yeah, there's definitely some thinner ones. Let's see here. That one's perfect. That should be good. Yeah, grab that little guy there. Alright, that should be enough to maybe get us started. Alright, so, new perspective, new look. I'm gonna get up on my little yoga blocks and have view from the top here. The ugly backside, the more captivating front side. What I'm thinking here is that this big long branch is really interrupting, and it's close to this one here. This is a lead, so we kind of need to let this lead go a little wild in here. And it should be doing pretty well on its own, and then this works well with it here. And then even above, I can get it to crown a bit on top, but this piece here is just too long. So I think I need to cut it down to size. If I'm gonna go back down to a reasonable canopy size, I could probably just cut the biggest piece off right here, but I want to be sure of that before. It is going into the tree. It's going into the line of view from our front perspective. So I think I'm okay with it. It is a thicker branch, which makes everything else look a little more delicate. So I think I'm okay with doing this. This one doesn't even need to be wired. It's already sitting nice and low. That one's sitting nice and low. Thing is, the rest need to kind of go up. But when I spin it around, I start to see that it has this really cool direction to it. So then I feel almost like that needs to stay, and I should cull back this area more. Let's try this. Let's try and wire these two buddies. This one branches off fine, but then it ends up splitting. So check out this branch I'm looking at here. I kind of prefer bringing the whole branch down and then cutting it back to the first split, rather than leaving these long bits on here. So I'm gonna cut it back to the first one. And we'll bring this whole branch down maybe. Maybe it has to go all the way back to there. Now, I absolutely cannot take more than 1/3 of the foliage off of this thing, especially the real ripe new foliage, and the top layer honestly is growing better than the bottom and shows better just shape. So what I think I want to do is just cut the bottom, and then we'll wire this branch down so that others can go up maybe. Or perhaps I need to get a couple wires on before I cut anything. The only thing is, it's all about wiring that lead, because that is an interesting lead. It does go out and up. So then if things got thinned out around, it could go out and up, and then also have a lot going on this back crown here. There's so many ways I can go with this. Because at first I thought I just wanted to go with like a kind of traditional palm look, but okay. What do you guys think? You have any opinions over there in chat? In Chatski? I mean, I think this has to be my lead. In which case, I'd have to lose a couple of branches off the bottom. But that's okay. But then again, I don't even really need to lose them. Well, I need to lose this one probably, which is a bigger one, leaving 2 smaller opposing branches, which would actually look nice right after a split. So I'm not totally opposed to taking that one off, but if it was the lead and it was going off this way, it's kind of a harmless lower branch, as long as it goes with the flow. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I just kind of dislike that one branch and this one branch. When that one's brought down, this one could cover up above, opening this whole area up. That means that we would have to kind of just consider this one in the way. There's not much going on there anyways. How about this? Okay. Right. I really don't think this one's worth keeping. And then that back branch is like nearly dead, which could really add better contrast to that. See, if this one's all on its kind of own over here, I don't know if it's more important to take than the one that's more cluttery over here on its own branch. But if it can be brought down like this, that's not so bad. And this one right here is a little problematic because it kind of just goes straight up and down. It would have to be turned like this to make sense. And then that means that I don't like this one here. But that one's gonna have to stay because it's a 1 of 3. And I don't love how the other 2 are positioned. I like these little branches here. These little branches are good and they can stay. So maybe they need to get wired down first, along with their partner right here. I feel like that one's gonna go. Is this one gonna stay? I guess I could wire those two together. Let's try that. Okay, let's try something. Okay, a rather long piece of somewhat thin wire. And let's try this out. Let's see. Damn, bro, already back to ads. I hate these ads. I think I would like this one doing its thing like this, while this one comes off and does this. No, this one comes down. This needs to be like that. Yeah, if some of these branches get rerouted, they're not such a problem, but they're kind of just all tangled up. I really want to be strategic going in here because I don't want to rewire this. It's bad enough to be wiring it once right now, this soon after transpotting it. This has a little bit of a movement to it. Okay, how about this? Where's my main? I gotta have two interesting mains. I think it's probably this coming up through here off to this one that goes down. So, you know, that's a main branch and that's a main branch. That leaves this as a cover that splits fine, and then one opposite and two opposites. Okay, so I guess that all kind of makes sense. Just talking out loud a little bit. I'm gonna need a bit of a longer piece, I think, here for my mains. Seems a little thick. It's like very thick. So very thick. I feel like even skinnier ones of these should do the job. Just need to make sure it's long enough. So going around between them two there. Certainly not quite long enough. But I think that this one could work here. All right, one last look before I go in. Okay. I think I know what I need to do. I think I need to do this. Gotta keep eyes on the prize. Gotta not block the camera so you guys get a good view of me wrapping this thing up. Oops. Yeah, the view from this side is probably gonna be your best view. So, decided that this is one of my mains right here. So we're going all the way from that down to this little piece. It's not long enough. Maybe I do need a bit of a longer, more heavy duty spot here. One moment. These are our leads, so let me just find a perfect piece of wire. all rather thick and heavy, but this one could do, yeah, this should work. Okay. All right, Daddy-O, let's see how we do. Let's see. So we gotta go all the way from one end there into the tree out to this end. Where's our opposite lead? It's probably gonna go there to there. I'm not quite sure. Either way, I guess that I can start by wrapping one side down this way. Easily move all that stuff beyond the main branch there, so no problem. And I'm on the back right now, so you're not gonna be able to see this from the front side. Try to not mark up the tree too badly. I'm gonna just wrap this around once here to kind of be my anchor for now. Come on. Okay, so okay, I got an anchor now. Not a very good one, but one I can work with. Okay. Yeah, this isn't gonna be good for the view either. I gotta get on the other side, I think. Okay, let's see how I can do this for you guys from over here. All right. Let's see, second lead. Probably got to be something like one of these two, but I'll get that figured out in a sec. Okay, so getting in here nice and tight with copper wire right in there. Oop. Microphone bop. You know what? There's actually a nice little like anchor that I can hook onto right here. Going at about a 35-degree angle or so, and only twisting the wire, not the branches. Okay, I like this bit right here. A little bit of an intricate process sometimes. At least until you get to a good anchor spot. There we go. And I'm holding the tree very stable while I'm doing this because I don't want to shake up the tree. It's just been through some recent repotting trauma, so I don't want to mess it up. Just gonna tighten my cleat up a little bit so I can make sure to keep working without having to worry about it coming undone. There we go. Okay. That should hold into place. Getting sappy hands now. Here we go. Okay. And I'm not trapping any needles at all so far, actually. This thing's done a really nice job of clearing its old needles. Okay. Starting to get into some needle territory here, but they're not actually on the branch, so they're not actually going to get crushed. Pull all of them out of the way. Nice. Okay, we're in. Got one more loop in. Got another in here, and then now we're starting to run into a spot. Aha! Where we're gonna need some needle pull. So I'll spin this around so you guys can see me do this part. All right, so here's our lead right here. You see we're starting to run into some needles. This is also one of the longest ends with 3 or 4 different little pines coming out right here. I'm gonna decide which one's gonna be our dominant one, but right here we're gonna be crushing some pines that are gonna be grown out of the tree anyway. So let's just pull them off. Ooh, very sappy. Very, very sappy. Okay, make sure that everything's clear of the wire. It is. I'm gonna do one more nice turn there. I'll pull out one more grip of these, and then it's probably gonna be my last turn. Okay. Let's go over it one more time. Oh yeah, this pitch is coming off this thing like nuts. It is in really good shape right now. It ran a lot of energy up to these outer needles and everything. And what I see a lot of people like to do with these types of pines while they're in training like this is take the end and just kind of make a little mop out of them like this. And since this thing isn't going to show tomorrow or anything like that, I can just do a nice loose little bundle around it. Nice little bundle with the wire. See, just to kind of keep it bundled up this way. Not necessarily crushing any. They should all be right underneath. See? So now we're just kind of guiding them instead of cutting them off and killing them. See? That's a tidy bundle. That looks good. And I think that that's our lead wired. So what that means is that we start getting in here and doing some bends. So I'm thinking that first off, it's gonna come out to here. It's a little sensitive in here, so I don't wanna mess too much with this immediate area, but after we get out just a bit, we start to sink the branch down and bring it back up, especially towards the end, kind of like this. And that gives a nice, interesting bend to the main line here. Especially if we send some of this stuff upwards, or up and around and outwards, whatever the case may be. Let's try and lower this a little bit more. Kind of like that. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, all right. Starts to make more sense. Now this one really bugs me. Along with one of this splits down, drops right here. So that either needs to get brought up or snipped. But I might bring it up and end up snipping it here to create a new crown by taking off this long piece here. So let's just wait on that. Okay, I feel pretty good about all of that there. It's a bit thick, a bit busy in here. think maybe I got to take one candle off here that almost seems like it's just kind of barely hanging on anyways. So this is throwing off my taper and flow, so I'm going to take that piece off. Immediately starts bleeding again. So let's grab that toothpick or the chopstick I had and fill that in. Just a little bit of the tree wound sealant. My hands are absolutely covered in sap, so hopefully I don't have to touch anything on the PC for a little bit. Let's see, where was that spot? Here. Okay. Help us from losing too much sap all at once right there. Okay, let's continue. I really like that lead. Don't really like the downward growing bit off of it. Something I'll have to look at for a moment, I think. Especially with this one over here in question completely. Like, is there any way that these can all cooperate upwards? I don't know. Like, that one needs to go like that. Which means something like this could work if I just wired it tight. Anyway, let's try and find our other lead branch, because we got this nice lead here with a back piece going off. Not worried about all that. Our next lead has to be probably this bit here, where it comes up, let's say opposite. And if I was to remove this crotch branch here, then that means that this would become my lead all the way back this way. Okay. It's doable. It's doable, but a little cramped. Okay. And that's one obvious lead right here. I want to get that twist in the branch right here that I'm not getting. Particularly the way that I want. Yeah, I mean, I just got a strong feeling that this branch has got to go. It's just so hard to take those big cuts. I mean, I think I have one really nice lead here with a backup and some support above, which is great. This backfill, I just don't really care about that much. It can sit for this season for all I care. This stuff can get led upwards for all I care, and see if it sticks. Okay, so if we're doing this type of lean here, where it goes out and then back this way, then this just like simply can't be my next lead. It has to be this one. So hopefully I can bring this one down enough and make it reach out to match. That bit's just sacrificial there. I'm wondering if I can take anything up and over in an appropriate swoop here. So I could probably do like these two together for some cleanup up here. These two are actually pretty nice opposite branches. If I go underneath like this maybe. Actually I should probably start underneath, hang on. Should probably start underneath and then wrap up and around this guy. Okay. Just wrap right around that. Okay, and then this piece can go just that one last loop here into that little bundle. As soon as I get the other side wired up, that little bundle just to hold the pines in place. After we go over this one, and we're using the 2-branch rule. 1 wire, 2 branches. And then just twisting the wire about a 35-degree angle all the way up. And then to right here, we're going to start running into what? What I'm running into here is where I want to start to flatten this thing out and flip it down. So I'm going to pick out some of these bottom pines here, just to make this a little bit easier to wrap and everything. Not all of them, just the ones that I think are going to be really in the way. And then we can wrap once under there, and then around through as many of these needles as I can without taking them out. And I think that that's about as far as I'll be able to go before I've got to go for the like needle bundle. So I'm just going to take all these needles from beyond here and just form them into a nice little bundle here, a little broom. Okay, I got this nice little broom of needles. Remove the other branch from it. And then that's a good spot for me to just twist right there. And like I said, just hold them out and do a nice loose twist. This isn't for show, just to hold everything in place here, nice and tidy, loosely, kind of like that. And this is the spot where I'm actually going to be able to get it to twist downwards like that, I think. And then this bit here is not that big of a deal. Much narrower branch. I'm gonna lose a couple of needles probably right here, but that's okay. Might lose a couple needles on that little bundle, but that's all right. Let's turn them up towards the end there. And same with this one, I want to go out, and then we're turning up and up. And see how these two are even moving together a bit here? They can really work with each other, you see, once you get them wired up two to a branch. There. Maybe something like that. Okay, so we got one fun little branch here. So I kind of wish we'd go more up, 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 and over. Looking for a much more up and over look to this. So what I'm doing is what you might call spaghettifying this stuff here. By just kind of doing like a little bit of a bowl twist almost. I think I see something that I did wrong in my wiring here that I'm going to correct really quick rather than leaving it wrong. I'll quickly retreat the smaller branch, and I'm going to hook around a different way for a little bit of a better leverage here. I lost all my leverage when I twisted this way. Okay, let me try this again. You've got to have leverage on your wire, otherwise it's not going to get these things into the place you want them. That's why we try to stick with that like 35-degree angle and such. See if I can go under and maybe try this. So I feel like to get the upward that I want here, I'm gonna actually need to try a different technique. I'm gonna have to go right through here. So the problem is, as time goes on, the wire gets harder to bend. There, okay. So I think that that's a better hook for this one now. Let's see if that works out better. Use pines into a little bundle here. Okay, wrap them up. Not as tightly wrapped on this one, but we can still send them up. There, feels like a much better. Okay, so we got a couple of branches working in tandem now. This one and this one seem to work together pretty good. I hate this right here. It's this little pinch in the wire right here that I don't really love, but I'll have to live with it. Okay, so this still leaves our whole backside here needing what I suppose is gonna have to be something like this. Something like this. Ah, man, there's so much pitch on my fingers. Okay, where are we gonna go up on this bad boy? How about this? Our final loop down here underneath this, and then we're gonna go directly up this one, I think. Okay. This wire is too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and just snip it now and save myself the trouble of not poking my eye. Hopefully I don't need more than that. I don't know that this one's going to be able to cooperate the way I want it to, so maybe it has to go this lead right here. Like this for a lead. Okay, we go up between these guys. Okay, then we can go all the way actually to the very end of this one, it looks like. So that's nice for a lead to lead. And then just as the others, I'm gonna just pull these needles together and carefully, loosely wrap them. So they're just a nice happy little bundle. Just like that. And then I can loop back. And I'm not gonna waste this wire, so I'll just kind of leave it like this. Like a little pad that we can turn up. Okay. I see some shape forming up and then down and around. Maybe I'm going too far in. Maybe we just need to go right back up here. More like that. A little bit of lower growth here. Little shag. And then this branch can probably turn down on this little vertex right here. That. Our happy little palm right out there at the end that I don't want getting too crushed by the wire, so make sure it's going up and out before I wrap the wire back under it. There we go. Not the prettiest, but it works. This to flow back up and over. And then this is gonna have to actually have a little bit of a turn back towards us here, I think, right through here. Yeah, there you go. See how that brings it into giving us this nice little hug from this side as well as this side. I like it. Now what don't I like? I don't like these upward growing bits, especially when they're doubled on each other. But like I said, maybe I can pull this one down far enough that it exists kind of like this. Or even off to the side. I could twist it off to the side. Could twist it off to the side like that. God, I don't know what I did on this to get it into such a funny position, but I just don't really like where it's at now. Maybe that's a bit better. Got that and that working together now up there. That seems to be giving us good motion. Good motion. I don't know that that one's really necessary. I really think this one might come off. This one going up would be nice. Some decisions to be made right in here. 1, 2, 3. There's just too many growing out of one area here. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to take this big tall one off. The big tall one's gonna have to go. That's okay. Going in for it. I'll leave a bit for dieback on that, because it is going into kind of a crotch of a branch here. Okay. And if these two could get wired opposite, that'd be kind of good. I don't even need a particularly long wire to get those two in place, so hopefully this will be enough for just like 2 wraps on each side. Okay. Okay, good. I feel it hooked on right there. And this is a nicely shaped branch. I think I want to keep this one around. So we'll go down and just wrap it around like that. Ooh, scraped my bark a little bit there. I didn't mean to. All right, and then I think I'm just gonna make this last wrap go around this one. So we can guide this down a bit. And then this one's just gonna wrap once, twice around here. All right. That should be enough to just keep it down a bit. And then same on this side. Just gonna go down a bit. That's not so bad. Still got these two to deal with. Let me take a look at this. Some of it's a little bit of a loose wrap, but that's okay. Ooh. I'm back to this one again. I think what I have to do here is cut the lower part. We're gonna nip the lower on that. All right. I don't want to take a whole lot more off. I'm really starting to get a little bit nervous. Okay. So maybe this is best as a kind of a little lever here to just keep this down. Not so it's going down like that, just like that. Okay, so that one's wired up. This one's wired up. This one's wired up. Its opposite is wired up. Except I need to pinch a little tighter in here, it looks like. Yeah, my movement on one side ends up making the other side down a bit. There. Or the other side loose a bit, so it needs to go further down. And then once it's on its own over here, it can do whatever it wants, kind of like that. And I don't know that there's a lot more I want to do to this one today. We've at least partially started to form some of our leads, and we're going to make sure that nothing tragic happens to any of these individual branches. I really like this one to hold on. A little aggressive, but should be okay. Man, for this to really work, I feel like I need to take this whole branch off or send it up this way, but it's a bit packed in there. I'll get the advice of some of my friends over at the Bonsai Society this week, and then I'll make my decision on where to go from here with this. Just try to tie these things up nice. I just want to create the motion that's supposed to be there with this wire now that it's on. So yeah, outward and inviting in this direction, I think, is the right way to go. This could maybe have a... Maybe this just needs a severe dip here and then back up to look right. We'll do something like that. All right, so that's a little bit of a new look, right? Starting to get a little bit of form and shape. We'll see what my friends at the society think. Starting to open up on the inside there. Might have to redo some of this stuff, but we'll see how everything holds up for the next few days. How about that? Add in progress, right when I finish. Figures. All right, I'm gonna go clean up my hands real quick. And then I think I'm probably gonna get close to maybe playing some games or wrapping up. So we'll see in a minute, okay? Yeah, guys, I think that maybe we'll be wrapping up here. Yeah, guys, after these jobs, I literally need to like use rubbing alcohol to clean my hands off. So I think this is gonna do it for tonight. I'm gonna just get cleaned up a little bit here and wrap things up and say thank you all for being here. It was a fun night tonight. Got a lot of work done. Worked on some good trees. I really hope that white pine bounces back super hard, because I mean, I love that tree and I need it to grow really, really nicely for the next 6 or 7 months before I pot it. But at least we got some start, a little bit of a head start on a styling plan for it. So I guess without anything else really going on, we can just raid. We just drop a raid. Let's drop a raid. Let's raid over to Nub Zombie. Let's go hang out at Nub Zombies. His raid. Oh, you know what? His is starting soon. Let's just raid over there. Going like Nub Zombie. He does horror stuff. A lot of he's a Silent Hill encyclopedia. So if you like Silent Hill, horror games, things like that, looks like he's playing Dead by Daylight tonight. And we'll go hang out with him for a while. So let me see if I can even get the raid to go. Yep, let's go. All right, guys, let's go hang out with Nub Zombie and see how he's doing. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. Fun stream. Got 2 trees worked on, which is always super fun. Good progress. And we'll pick it up on the next one. So yeah, love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a good time out there. Try not to go crazy. And I will catch you on the next one. See y'all. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.